All right. We're gonna do another one. I eat organic. I eat organic. I eat organic. This is because I don't know. Two people asked me to post this information, so I'm gonna put it on the YouTube. Hopefully, you guys find it informative. So yesterday I was talking about sanctions against the oligarchs in the Republic of Haiti, and I also it's about to rain. I also talked about how the banking sector in the country, that's going to be another problem, because if they start to arrest some of these CEOs, huh? Some because right now we're seeing people being arrested that has never happened. You know what I'm saying? Like it has never happened before, but because of the administration that we have right now with Trump, this is actually a good thing, right? For the Republic. This is a good thing. So now I mentioned Agenda 2030, and with Haiti being involved with the planning, for the United Nations reset, and some people asked me to go a little bit into details about, what is that? First of all, you guys know that the United Nations, it was founded after the Second World War, and it was founded by the League of Nations, right? League of Nations was all the nations that was involved in the First War. A lot of independent republics that had some history, and many people do not know that Haiti is one of the founding members of the United Nations. You understand? In the past, our vote, it really counted. It really made, it had a lot of value, right? This is why we were able to be the deciding factor, sadly, I guess today, in making Israel, independent state. Okay? Because if it wasn't for us, there would be no Israel if we had denied it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have, it's political, it's economical, so eventually they would have got what they were looking for. But yeah, we was the deciding factor. So because we're one of the original 50 or 51 nations that was involved in the United Nations, they're going to put us in the front of the line during this 2030 revival, this Agenda 2030. So now if you Google Agenda 2030, right, the AI overview, AI is all over now, so you might as well use it. It says the UN's 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Okay, everything's about sustainability, and this is the new thing we're going into, right? So the UN's 2030 agenda for sustainable development was launched in 2015. I heard about it prior to 2015. They kept on talking about this is of course after the earthquake. The earthquake happened in 2010. Well, the following year, I started to hear about all of these plans and all of these things that they already have written out that should be a reality by 2030 is what it said. So now it says the UN's 2030 agenda for sustainable development, launched in 2015, is a global plan to eradicate poverty, protect human rights, and achieve gender equality. I mean, before gender equality, I mean, they gotta make sure some of these nations, they have enough education, they have enough they have enough jobs where they can even focus on gender equality. But this is one of this is one of the main factors. It is built on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and emphasizes the responsibility of all states to promote and protect human rights. The Agenda's 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 169 targets aim to balance the economic, social, and environmental aspects of sustainable development. This includes ending poverty, hunger, empowering women and the girls, protecting the planet and its resources, ensuring universal respect for human rights, promoting justice, equality, non-discrimination, tackling climate change, preserving the oceans and the forests. Now, all of these things sound beautiful, right? They sound beautiful. They sound like if they are able to achieve this by 2030, we should be in a better world. But here's what I'm thinking. The fact that there's like an invisible group inside the United Nations that we don't see, right? You know, you have the Bilderberg Group, you have the Council on Foreign Relations, and you have all these groups that's involved inside the UN. You know, sometimes what you're reading is kind of like the face of what they're really, what they're really up to. The United Nations has been for a long time, they've been blamed for a lot of these problems that they want to fix. So it's like, okay, you want to fix all of these problems, but you caused them. Is this just another way to get closer to the one world government? I mean, they used to say the new world order. I mean, it's not that new anymore because I think we're already here. So this is their plans, right? With this Agenda 2030. And you have to ask yourself, why put Haiti in the front? The current problems that we see right now in the Republic, the UN or that silent, invisible group that's involved in the United Nations, first of all, profits from all of these chaotic things going on, right? With the NGOs and the nonprofit groups. But who's going to be able to stop their plan? Everything looks like it's going right as planned. It's not by accident that you see, now they're starting to target all of these elites in the country, because for a while they used them. They were puppets, just how they use presidents and other politicians, but they don't need them anymore. They're going to have probably a new class of economic elites. So Google, if you Google Haiti Agenda 2030, right? Now you Google Haiti, Haiti, Agenda 2030. You Google that, and it goes back to say the same thing I said before about what, the Agenda 2030 is. And in regards to IET, it is a framework that will guide national development efforts through goals focused on poverty reduction, human capital development, jobs, economic growth, and improved institutional capacity. I mean, we don't got functioning hospitals, right? There's so much chaos going on. Like I said, I've just kind of slowed down on posting and things like that. I kind of let people focus on the beaches and the mountains and, the nice images, because sometimes that's what we need, right? I mean, we've been so bombarded with all of the negatives. It's like, hey, you might as well take some of this illusion. In recent years, this framework has been advanced through the National Integrated Financing Framework for Sustainable Development to secure funding and strategic planning. So, specifically for IET, this Agenda 2030 should bring specific medium-term recovery and a development plan which focuses on placing economic hubs all over the island so it's connected to the region. And check this out. I didn't know this. This is something new. This agreement involves the country's nationally determined contributions, which is under the Paris Agreement. I don't know why we have anything that has to do with Paris. I mean, if you guys know, the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines said this even in the beginning. He says, France. Okay, now I'm not saying all of the French people are evil, but France itself is an enemy of the Republic of Haiti forever. I mean, they owe us like $40 billion and, they won't even give us, 5% of that, 10% of that. Now, here's some key aspects, some things you should see and understand with Haiti's Agenda 2030. Now, Agenda 2030 is for all of these developing nations and even the nations that are going to be, I guess, going downwards, right? Because places like France, America, where I'm at, all of these countries is, they're going to start taking some serious hits. And then those resources are going to be, pulled and focused on the developing nations. You have Strategic Development Plan, which is a national plan for, like I said, right now we're talking about IET, but it's for all of the developing countries, all the poor countries. Plan focused on sustainable development and economic recovery, outlining priorities for investment and growth, because you got to invest to build up the economy. We have the National Integrated Financial Framework, which helps the government and its partners, including private sector, not this private sector, because the one that's in Haiti right now, they're going to remove them and put their own. Most likely, it'll be Haitians from the diaspora, and that have money, that's involved in business already. And that's going to be a whole other thing. Like I said, man, if any of you who probably have never been to IET, or maybe you were born there and left as a child, like there's a lot of things have changed in the country, right? Imagine $1, which during the Duvalier regime was 5 goods. When I was in the country living for a couple years back in I mean, I started going back while I was there for the earthquake, left, came back that summer, left, and it was in and out like 2011, 2012. All these times, I remember $1, how much was it? It was low, man. It was under, I remember $1 at like 25 goods. $1 right now is like 130 goods. So you see the inflation. You see how it's crazy. And they caused this. That's the funny part. You know, they caused the problem and now they're coming with the solution. Now they say medium-term recovery and development. Why medium? So they know there's going to be problems anyway. Initiated with partners like the IDB, Interdevelopment Bank, the World Bank, the United Nations, this plan targets regional development, specifically in the North, to foster new economic hubs and substantial growth outside of Port-au-Prince. So, you know, they cause the problems with these gangs. They make sure these gangs destroy all of Port-au-Prince, burn houses down. So now, you know, they evicted everybody. Before this, they made sure they built a major airport in Cap-Haïtien in the North. Oh, man. These people are playing chess, you know what I'm saying, while we're playing checkers, and, you know, they're ahead. And if you don't know what's going on, then obviously, you know, you're going to just be left out to dry. To foster new economic hubs and substantial growth outside of Port-au-Prince. Climate and resilience goals. This country updated under the Paris Agreement outlining emission reduction targets and strategies linked to significant focus on loss and damage, the potential for solar energy, which I already see. I mean, there's solar panels all over the country, to support development. Focus on basic services and human capital. A significant part of the effort involves enhancing basic services like education, healthcare. I mean, as we speak right now, because of all this BS with the chaos that's been going on for a couple years, you have kids who basically, because once they stop the education process in a country, they're behind. Even if they start this in 2030, you have people that's at least a decade or more behind in regards to education. The health care system, I mean, the health of the Haitians have gotten worse because, you know, in areas that are heavily populated, like Port-au-Prince, Delma, and all these other places, even in Okap, not everyone is eating organics like back in the days, you know? They're eating a lot of imported food that's bringing all types of cancers, diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressures, and all of that. So Agenda 2030 in regards to IHC will address high rates of illiteracy and a lack of access to medical care. And then the last thing, which is going to be probably the hardest, or one of the hardest, I guess, institutional and governance reform. Progress is being made on strengthening institutional capacities, improving the rule of law, reforming the justice sector, and combating corruption to support long-term development goals. I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel to know that, you know, other people who are not having the same experience you're having as Haitians, are coming up with plans to already fix and repair and renew the country. Anyway, like I said, you guys go ahead and do more research on Agenda 2030 and then also Haiti 2030. We're about 4 years away. We're about 4 years away, you know? So I don't know how it's going to go. I do know after 2030, this world is going to be definitely something different. It's the same thing after, I remember 1999, then we had the year 2000, right? And then everything started to change with information, the internet, blah, 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 blah. So now with this new Agenda 2030, which is going to be focused on a lot of the developing nations, I don't even know how it's going to work, you know, but they do. They planned it years ago. So you guys tell me what you think. Do you believe that this Agenda 2030, which is not only for IET, but a lot of countries are going to have to get in line with this new reset? You know, they're probably going to crash the dollar, you know, come up with some other type of ways to do commerce. A lot of things are coming. A lot of chaos. From chaos, they bring order. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little YouTube clip. Wanted to leave it here for you. Took some time out before getting back to the house. IET Organic, IET Organic, IET Organic, IET Organic Experience. And, you know, I was asked to drop this, so I did. Hopefully you enjoy. Aibu.